Hey there, this is not how you expected to start the video, right? Just stay there and see how it ends. So what means that going to the toilet in Japan could be an unforgettable. So this is one of the bizarre but very interesting things about Japan.
No proof is not in her. She's a diamond under.
Hello family, welcome to Interesting Things. I am your host JCB and this is our first video with this new format. We're gonna keep bringing you more interesting facts about curiosities that you may did not know. But first, do not forget to subscribe, to click the notification bell so you get notified every time we upload a new video. And if you are subscribed already, so then thank you very much. We really appreciate it. If you live in America or in Europe or in Australia, you may be curious about some other countries that have a very different culture. For example, Japan. Many people think that in Japan they live a few hundred years ahead from the rest of the world. I mean, they have things that the rest of the world does not have, and they do things that the rest of the world does not do. But anyway, nobody can deny that this country is full of interesting facts and curiosities. So if you wanna find out more, just stay until the end, because today we bring you 10 interesting facts about Japan that you did not know, part 1. Fact number 1. In Japan, there are more seniors than kids. Yes, just like you heard. In Japan, they have a very busy life, and I mean very busy. They are so busy that many people do not have even time to get married and build a family. And also, Japanese are the people who live the longest comparing with the rest of the world. The man, they will live an average of around 81 years old, and the women, they live an average of 87 years old. Okay, that is something that all countries have in common. For some weird reason, all women live longer than men. But this is causing crises to the economy because of the lack of childbirth. And 21% of the whole population is elderly. And there are more than 50,000 people that are 100 years old or more. What means that being too healthy in a country is not too healthy for the same country, if that makes even sense. And something else that not many people know is that adult diapers are way more sold than kids' diaper. Yes, it's just like you heard. And you can find tons of commercial promotionating it. And it looks so cute like this. Fact number 2. It is one of the safest countries in the whole world. So there are many countries or cities where you would not dare to step in with a nice watch or a nice necklace, or with your brand new white and red Jordan sneakers that you saved for months to buy it, or just for someone to steal it. If this is one of your case, then you should be thinking about moving to Japan. Japan is one of the safest countries in the world. So safe that the most common crimes that you will see will be stealing a bicycle or umbrellas that are left outside. In Japan, it's totally normal to see people taking a nap in public places, just like in the public train, and it is also said that many people do not even lock their home. That would just be the dream country for a next neighbor of mine. He forgot to lock his door for one night and he just lost his brand new TV. Fact number 3. To clean up is part of their education. Yes, just like you heard. In many countries, if the children would clean up their own school, well, let's say that the school would get in big trouble. But in Japan, the children, since the elementary school, they have to clean up their own school, even the toilets, and then also they have to serve lunch to their classmates. Fact number 4. To take power naps at work is totally common. I mean, first of all, who wouldn't like to just be able to sleep around 20-25 minutes at work and anyway get paid for it? But in the case of the Japanese, as I said before, they are the people who work the most comparing with the rest of the world. So since years ago, employers are just letting their employees to sleep just a few minutes, around 15-20 minutes, so they can recharge and get some energy. But by the way, in Japan, power naps are totally common. As we said before, you will find a lot of people sleeping in public places like the train or in public parks. Fact number 5. To make noises while eating is actually polite. I remember when I was a kid getting in trouble with my mother because I used to eat and make noises, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. In many countries, we all learn since a very young age that we have to eat and be quiet, mainly if it is noodle. But in Japan, if you go to a noodle restaurant, for example, that you should go, believe me, they are the best, then you should not be afraid of making noises. Actually, you should make noises. It is considered polite. In Japanese, they think that when you are eating and you are making noises, it means that the food is good and that you're loving it, and you're letting it know to the person who cooked the food that you really like it. In the other way around, if you do not make noise, then it is considered way unpolite, because it means that you do not like the food and the chef, the person who cooked the food, is not gonna like it so much. So now you know, let's make noises while eating and let's all feel better. Fact number 6. There are places where you can pay to cuddle. As weird as it sounds, there is nothing sexual about it. As I said before, Japanese work the most in the whole world. So since they are studying, they have to study for long, then they have very long days of work. So most of the people, or many people, do not have the time to marry and build a family. So a lot of people in Japan are still single, and loneliness is a huge problem in Japan. So that's why there is a huge demand of cuddling and intimacy. And that's why there are some cafes where you go and you pay just to cuddle with someone, to lay down on someone's lap, or just to be together with another human being. But of course, not all the people in Japan go to this kind of cafe. Comparing with the population of Japan, there is still a little part that goes to the cafe. So this is one of the bizarre but very interesting things about Japan. Just tell me, what do you think about it? I'm sure that many of you have heard about the Suicide Forest, and mainly after a very controversial video from a very famous YouTuber. This forest is the second most popular place to commit suicide, just after the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. The forest is located at the base of Mount Fuji, and it is said where most of the people come in but almost nobody comes out. The very high suicide rate in Japan is due to not enough access to therapy, and of course because there are a lot of pressure in life. But anyway, the government said that they are working on a plan to prevent and to get the rates lower. Fact number 8. Smart toilet. Of course, going to the toilet, that's something that we all do. But with the pass of the time, people have changed the way that they go to the toilet. For example, in the old times, it was go where you could, how you could, and clean it up with what you could. In our time, it's probably a white toilet on a white bathroom with probably white toilet paper. But in Japan, they are one step forward. A very famous company in Japan called Toto created the first smart toilet. So what do? They sense how much water is needed to flush it, what means that they use less water. They also feel if it is too cold, so they warm up the top for you, or they cool it off if it's needed. If you cannot concentrate for some reason, it plays the music that you want so you can concentrate on your business and go further. So once you're done, it sprays water so it makes easier for you to do the rest. So what means that going to the toilet in Japan could be an unforgettable experience. So for me in special, that feels a little bit weird to do that, but let me know if you go to the Japan if you would dare to do that. Fact number 9. Most polite people in the whole world. Japanese are known to be very polite. That's why they bow instead of shaking hands. Also, it is part of their culture. If you go to Japan, they probably will shake hands because they like to welcome their guests with their own culture. But if you want to give back some politeness and respect, then you should bow instead of shaking hands. According to the tradition, the lower you bow, the most respect you show toward the person that you are greeting. People in Japan, they do not even make calls in public because it could bother the people that are around. And even the smartphones are customized because they do not have the ability of sound camera. So all the photos that are taken in Japan are actually silent. Even if you try to turn it on, it will not work because they just does not have the ability to make sound. So if you go to Japan and you like to take a lot of selfie, so just make sure that your phone is in silent, otherwise they will consider that you are unpolite. Fact number 10. Trains. Another things that Japanese are very good at are inventions and technology. You will see it everywhere you go in the city. For example, the biggest car company in the whole world, Toyota, is from Japan. Just like Mitsubishi, Honda, Kawasaki Motors, Motorola, and more. And in trains, they do not stay behind either. They have one of the fastest trains in the whole world that literally floats on the tracks with magnetic rails. This bullet train can get up to a speed of more than 300 miles per hour or more than 520 kilometers per hour. Japanese are working in another bullet train that is called the Alpha X. They promise that this one is gonna go way faster and that the train will be operating in somewhere around 2030. But the rest of the train are also amazing. They are always on time. So on time that they just never get late, just even for 1 or 2 seconds. The only way is that there will be an accident, but it will never happen. And another crazy fact about the trains in Japan is that it can get very busy. And I mean very busy. It is so busy that the trains company had to contract professional pushers. And those people are just in charge in the rush hour to push people into the trains. So as you can imagine, that wouldn't be so a pleasure experience. And this was our first video with this new format. So let us know in the comments below, what do you think about the facts from Japan, and of course, what do you think about our new way to present you the videos. And don't forget to subscribe, to click the notification bell and give us a thumbs up. So once again, thanks a lot for watching. My name is JCB and we see you in the next video.